So just a little video on how I've been keeping this particular Eastern Indigo snake. So we started him off, this is a juvenile, youngster. We started him off in a tub, a little shoebox sized tub, close fitting lid, plenty of ventilation, small water bowl and folded newspaper that he could hide in and use as a substrate. As a breeder, something that really irks myself and lots of other breeders is when someone comes to collect a baby snake from you that you've spent months establishing, getting feeding ready for sale, and you advise the new keeper how to start keeping that snake, and you say keep it in a small enclosure similar to this until it settles in its new home in your house and starts feeding very, very well. Let it grow a little bit, let it start feeding well, let it settle in, don't handle it really. Feeding's a priority, small enclosure feels a lot more secure, better to regulate the heat, etc. For you it's easier. And that if people insist that because they've heard something on social media, in putting it into a large enclosure, all set out beautifully, all naturalistic, and then the snake never feeds and gets sick or gradually dies, or they just mess around with it all the time, it's really annoying. So this little guy was kept just how he was kept by the breeder. Let's see if you can spy him down there. Until he was eating well, put on a bit of size, and then I've put him into this little Exoterra 18-inch cube. Yes, he does climb. He's in a heated reptile room. He's got extra heat on the side there. You choose how you're going to do that. They don't like too much heat, but you're going to need a heat source of certainly around that 28, 29 C. Help it digest its food. Somewhere to bask, if you like. It basks by wedging itself down there or sitting up there. It's got rudimentary lighting. The room's lit, but it's also got some LEDs on the side there. It has got lighting. It's got some living plants. It's got a natural compost type substrate and water bowl that needs cleaning. It's pretty clean, but they need their water bowls refreshing every couple of days for sure. They really do drink, and they're really sensitive to dirty water. Live plants, a natural substrate, composted substrate, bit of coir, bit of compost in there, a little bit of sand, means that the plants can grow, and it works very bioactively. He's been in here for many weeks now. I've spot cleaned a couple of his big poos out. Other than that, there's a few wood lice in there, and there's a couple of live plants in there, but the springtails and other stuff in that living, slightly moist substrate really has kept it pretty good. It's a temporary thing. Drymarchon grow fast, so rehouse as necessary. He's about to go in a 6x2x2. As soon as I glaze the new monitor lizard enclosure, the monitor lizard's moving, he's going to have a new enclosure which I'll show you as and when. I can see him there. I don't know if you can. Look at that. So he's trained now. He's been fed recently. It might not work. He's trained to respond to tapping the glass, to come out looking for food. Let's see. Possibly because I've stood with the door open too long. He's not going to... I think he's just too well fed. And possibly there's no smell of food coming his way. As snakes go, Drymarchon and Hydra dynasties, they're false water cobras. As snakes go, they're quite intelligent snakes. Snakes are not an intelligent group of animals compared to even mediumly intelligent animals. But as snakes go, the beauty of water cobras, false water cobras and indigo snakes and caribos is they do seem to have a little bit about them. I'll get some more footage of him in a little while. So simple setup, but yes, semi-bioactive, scooping out the big poos, somewhere to hide, a heat source, bit of light, room lighting would suffice. A bit of light on there just for me, probably better for him, I don't know. Does he really care? No, he'd be happy with just the room lighting in here and the plants there. Potos always work well, skin dapsers, in your semi-bioactive or bioactive enclosures because they're hardy, and so do sometimes just ordinary ivy. The reason I'm showing you this is because we'll do another video of him in a larger enclosure that's going to be, again, semi-bioactive, but it's made of Conti board, and that does not like moisture and water. So I'll show you how I'm going to get around that once we do that. So 2 things to remember when you're rearing up indigo snakes. 2 or 3 things really. Clean water at all times really. Not overheating. This will die and be very stressed if the whole enclosure goes up to the high sort of, if it's around that sort of 30 degrees that your python might like, 31, 32 even, Celsius. It's not going to do this guy any good whatsoever. They will get stressed and they will die from overheating. So relatively cool temperatures, a bit like the false water cobras. I like him to have sort of a 20, 22 Celsius end and a basking spot of that 28, 30, a localized basking spot. Do they climb? More so as youngsters, less so I think as adults. Really, I think my last adult, he did climb up a fake wall rock background, but they're not arboreal species really. But young slender juveniles do. They need feeding well. That's really important. They need regular small feeds. Again, like the false water cobra, it can't swallow items much thicker than the thickest part of its head. So it does need that regular small feeds. At the moment, this guy will take an average sized mouse or 3 or 4 rat pups, but we're talking every 5 days, sometimes every 4 days. Small items in multiples or a medium-sized item, sort of as thick as his body, but certainly every 5 days to keep that snake growing as it should. Fast metabolism, potentially 8-foot snake, fast growth rate. But that's it really for this video. Just showing you how I keep my young juvenile Eastern indigo snake. This is a how-to. This is a how I did it, how I'm keeping it, how it's thriving. It can burrow in a substrate, and we're going to carry that over to the next enclosure for sure. Regular small feeds, clean water. Don't cook your snake, not with this species at all.